My girlfriend dumped me before I could propose, then demanded the ring anyway. She showed up screaming with her friends to take it. 10 minutes later, the cops tackled her in my hallway while I watched her whole story collapse. Hey, Reddit! My ex thought she could dump me, rewrite the breakup, claim a ring she never got, and show up screaming when her lie fell apart. Yeah, no, I wasn't having it. Before the cops, the meltdown, and the mugshot, let me take you back to where this disaster actually started. Name's Dylan, 27, IT tech. Stable job, decent apartment, gym 5 days a week, and the type of guy who shows up when he says he will. I don't play games, I don't do chaos, and once I'm disrespected, I'm done. Simple system. Works well. I met Brielle at a friend's rooftop cookout. She was 26, bright smile, social, artsy, and the kind of girl who could talk to a brick wall and make it blush. We clicked fast. Real fast. By month 2, we were doing regular date nights, sharing playlists, and she was sneaking into my hoodie stash like she owned the lease. By month 4, we were official. By month 6, we were couple goals, according to her Instagram stories. For a long time, things were good. Really good. We laughed a lot. She'd curl into me during movies, surprise me with takeout on late work nights, drag me to every food truck festival within 50 miles. She said she liked that I was steady, predictable in the best way. The guy who could drive at night without getting lost, who remembered her coffee order, who fixed her squeaky cabinet without being asked. And I liked her energy. It made quiet days feel less empty. And then there were her 2 best friends, Tiffany and Kayla. They weren't just friends, they were a package deal. Buy 1, get 2 for free. Sunday brunch, wine night Wednesdays, constant group chat buzzing like a security alert. Brielle adored them both. I tolerated them. Mostly. Tiffany was loud. Loud opinions, loud outfits, loud everything. Divorced, but somehow the self-appointed guru of what strong women deserve. She'd drop lines like, men are replaceable, women are superior. Biology proved it. Then sip her overpriced latte like she'd just recited gospel. The kind of person who would lecture you about independence, but still ask her dad to pay her car insurance. Kayla was different. Sweet one-on-one, polite, kind eyes. But around Tiffany, it was like flipping a switch. She mirrored every rant, every attitude shift, every superiority complex. Tiffany said the sky was green. Kayla would nod like she'd seen the weather report. It wasn't malicious. She was just too impressionable for her own good. At first, none of it mattered much. A little noise in the background of an otherwise good relationship. I wasn't hunting for red flags, but I wasn't blind either. The first one? Brielle posted me constantly. Not us. Me. My hand holding her drink, my arm around her waist, my face kissing her cheek. It was flattering until it wasn't. Sometimes it felt like she liked the idea of boyfriend energy more than actually spending time with me. Second one? Tiffany's man-hating speeches. Every group hang had one. If she could have trademarked the phrase, men should pay for everything, she would have. Third one? Kayla shifting with the wind. Sweet to me alone, cold around Tiffany, indecisive around Brielle. I'd seen that dynamic before. One strong personality, 2 orbiters. I noticed all of it, but didn't overreact. It wasn't enough to blow anything up. And when it was just me and Brielle, she was all in. Warm, affectionate, funny, present. The good outweighed the weird, so I let the weird slide. But one night told me more than any red flag list ever could. We were at this birthday dinner, one of Brielle's co-workers. Big table, lots of wine, loud crowd. Tiffany and Kayla slid into the seats across from us like they were auditioning to run the night. Halfway through, the bill comes. Big number. Everyone's splitting except the birthday girl. Before anyone speaks, Tiffany leans back, smirks, and says, honestly, men should just cover everything. If a guy can't afford a few dinners, he shouldn't be dating. Kayla nods immediately, like a bobblehead on command. The table goes quiet. People stare at their bread plates. Brielle glances at me, waiting, hoping I'll stay silent. I don't do silent. I took a sip of my drink, kept my voice calm, and said, wild how the loudest, independent people always want a sponsor. The table cracked. Even the waiter smirked. Tiffany's face tightened like she swallowed a lemon. Kayla blinked twice, unsure if she was allowed to be offended yet. Brielle nudged my leg under the table. Not playfully. I just raised an eyebrow. After that night, the energy shifted. Tiffany started watching me like she was waiting for me to slip. Kayla kept her distance unless Tiffany was spinning next to her. And Brielle? She laughed it off, but she didn't forget it. Still, our relationship stayed strong. Good days were still good, but the cracks were forming, and those 2 were pushing the pressure from the outside. I didn't know it yet, But everything that would later explode had already started right there, in that moment, when I answered Tiffany back instead of playing along. And honestly, I'm glad I did. It told me exactly who was in my corner and who wasn't. The shift started around month 14. Subtle at first. A canceled dinner here, a rain check there. Nothing that screamed trouble, just enough to feel like someone dimmed the lights in a room that used to be bright. One Friday, Brielle texted an hour before our date. Hey babe, girls thing came up. Tiffany wants to talk about something important. No details, no apology, just girls thing. Next week, same pattern. Busy tonight, random plans popped up. Week after that, I'm exhausted. Kayla and Tiff kept me out all evening. Rain check? Each excuse was vague enough to avoid a fight, specific enough to be annoying. I didn't push. I don't chase grown adults to act grown, but the pattern became obvious fast. Whenever Brielle spent a long stretch of time with Tiffany, she came back sounding like a podcast nobody asked for. One night she said, Tiffany thinks serious boyfriends should cover more, like bills, dates, groceries. It shows commitment. Another time, Tiffany says girlfriends shouldn't have to explain themselves. If you trust someone, you don't question them. I raised an eyebrow. That sounds convenient. She ignored that. Kayla, who used to be chill, started mimicking Tiffany like it was a part-time job. She'd parrot lines word for word. If Brielle said something half-baked, Kayla backed her instantly. What really caught my attention was how coordinated they suddenly were. If I said I missed Brielle, Tiffany would instantly say I was needy. Kayla would nod like a hype woman, and Brielle would roll her eyes, because nodding meant she didn't have to think for herself. But the memory I remember best? The receipt. One Saturday, Brielle claimed she was at her mom's house. She sent a quick text, won't be on my phone helping with errands. Cool. Have fun carrying groceries. 2 hours later, my phone buzzes. A mutual friend of ours posted a story from some rooftop bar. Fun crowd, drinks, loud music, front and center, laughing with a margarita. Brielle. I didn't message her, didn't call, didn't even screenshot it. I just saved it in my head, neatly, like a file I'd pull later. That Monday, I brought it up, calm, in my kitchen while prepping dinner. She didn't come alone. Tiffany and Kayla showed up with her and planted themselves by my island like co-counsel before I'd even set the pan down. Hey, I said, you told me you were at your mom's Saturday, but I saw you at Fletcher's rooftop. She barely looked up. Oh my God, Dylan. Seriously? You're checking up on me now? I wasn't checking anything, I said. A mutual posted a video. You just happened to be in it. Tiffany said you'd start acting insecure. There it was. Tiffany again. Behind her, Kayla nodded like she'd rehearsed it. Tiffany laughed, loud and grating, then said, men get so fragile the moment women have lives outside them. I stared at her. You don't have a life outside blaming men for yours. Kayla blinked hard, thrown off for a second before Tiffany elbowed her. Then she nodded again, slower this time. Brielle crossed her arms. I'm allowed to hang out with my friends, Dylan. Never said you weren't. Then why are you making a big deal? I'm not. I just asked why you lied. Her voice sharpened. I didn't lie. Plans changed. Tiffany said, Kayla began. I cut her off with a raised hand. Kayla, I didn't ask Tiffany. I asked Brielle. They both glanced at Tiffany like she was the group leader. And honestly, she was. Tiffany rolled her eyes. This is exactly what we meant. Men can't handle spontaneity. I leaned back against the counter, kept my tone steady. Surgically steady. Insecure guys beg. I just noticed patterns. The room froze for a half second. Kayla's mouth dropped shut. Tiffany looked like I slapped her with the truth. And Brielle? She hated that line more than anything I'd said to her in 2 years, because she expected anger, or jealousy, or some apology to smooth things over. Instead, she got calm accountability, the one thing people who rely on chaos can't handle. She grabbed her purse. I'm going home. You're being controlling. I shrugged. Drive safe. Tiffany muttered, unbelievable, as she stomped out behind her. Kayla followed, not saying a word, but looking confused, like she wasn't sure which side she was supposed to be on. Door shut. Silence. That's when I knew the distance wasn't an accident. It was a shift. Slow, steady, and very intentional. And it was only the beginning. By the time we hit year 2, I genuinely thought I was locking in my future. I'd put in the time, the effort, the stability. I wasn't improvising a relationship. I was building one. So I bought the ring. Not some cheap placeholder. A solid, clean-cut band with a center stone that fit Brielle's style. Timeless, not flashy. I kept it hidden in my sock drawer under a stack of folded black crew socks she never touched. My plan was simple. Dinner at our first date spot, walk by the river, then the question. No theatrics, just something real. But the week after I bought it, Brielle suddenly turned into a ghost. Weekend 1, sorry babe, girls trip to a winery. Totally last minute. Tiffany booked it. Weekend 2, exhausted. Stayed up with Kayla and Tiffany until like 3. Rain check? Weekend 3. I'll try to stop by, but we're doing a vision board night. Kayla's in a weird mood. 3 weekends in a row, she vanished into her friend group like they were a cult holding mandatory meetings. I saw her maybe twice, both times for less than an hour. Every time I asked if something was wrong, she swore everything was fine. Just busy, you're overthinking. Yeah, okay. I wasn't panicking, but I wasn't stupid either. The distance wasn't random. It was coordinated, practiced, almost like someone was coaching her on what space should look like. But I let it play out, because I'm not the guy who chases anyone. Then came the night everything snapped. It was a Tuesday, a little before 8 in the evening. I remember because my work laptop was still open on my kitchen table. I heard a knock, opened the door, and there she was. Casual outfit, hair in a messy bun, acting like she popped over to borrow sugar. Hey, she said, brushing past me. Just grabbing a few things. No explanation, no conversation. She just walked into my bedroom, grabbed her tote bag, and started pulling her stuff out of my drawers. Makeup bag, chargers, sweaters, random toiletries she left in my bathroom, like she was doing inventory. By the time she was done, she'd cleaned out almost everything she'd ever left here. I leaned against the doorway and watched her. No expression, no emotion, just efficiency, like she'd rehearsed this exact route through my apartment. I let it go for about 5 minutes before I said the line that changed the entire direction of the night. Don't forget your hairdryer. It'd be awkward having to come back after it's over. She froze mid-reach, slowly turned around. What? Why would you say that? You're packing like someone who already wrote her exit speech. Instant waterworks, except nothing about it was real. Her face was dry, her voice overly shaky, the whole performance straight out of a TikTok breakup tutorial. Dylan, stop. You're being dramatic. I don't know how to say this the right way. Say what? She sucked in a breath like she was about to accept an award. I just feel like you're great, truly, but you're not my future. There it was. Clean, rehearsed, polished. Tiffany would have been proud. You're stable, she continued, and dependable and safe, but I need something different, more exciting, more aligned with who I'm becoming. I didn't move, didn't blink. Right, I said. So you're done. That's not... Dylan, don't make this harder. I shrugged. I'm not. You already packed. That hit harder than anything else I said, because her expression shifted from fake sad to irritated. This wasn't going how she imagined. I wasn't crying. I wasn't bargaining. I wasn't asking what I could fix. She tried again. Can we at least talk about it? No. She blinked. No? We're done. Don't confuse my silence with weakness. Silence. She stared at me like I'd broken script. Finally, she grabbed her bag, muttered something about needing space to grow, and walked out. I held the door open and didn't look back. 10 minutes later, I pulled the ring from the drawer, stared at it once, then put it back. Felt nothing but clarity. The next day, a friend of a friend sent me a screenshot, a group chat message from Brielle to her circle, not meant for me to ever see. Her exact words, he's too immature, decent in bed, and honestly not worth the rest of my life. I need to level up. Not my interpretation, not exaggerated. Word for word. I didn't respond, didn't confront her, didn't send a paragraph about disrespect. I just screenshotted it and archived it. A receipt among receipts. Funny thing is, that message didn't hurt. It confirmed everything I already knew walking her out my door. She didn't want me. She wanted the optics of dating someone stable. And the second stability stopped entertaining her, she leveled up. Little did she know, that line about me not being her future, she was right. Because the moment she walked out, she wasn't mine either. And she had no idea what kind of storm she was about to walk straight into. A month after the breakup, I'd moved on with life. Gym was consistent, work was steady, and the ring sat untouched in my drawer like a receipt from a bad investment. I wasn't thinking about Brielle anymore. Not angry, not sad, just done. But that doesn't mean letting a lie run loose. I wasn't chasing her. I was making sure my story didn't get told by someone who wasn't in it anymore. That's when Kayla texted me. Hey, can we talk? Alone. It's important. Kayla wasn't the kind of person who reached out on her own. She followed. Always had. So the fact that she messaged me directly, and specifically said alone, meant something was off. I told her to come by. When she showed up, she didn't do the usual fake bright smile she used to wear around supportive men. She looked nervous. No makeup, hoodie, eyes red like she'd been crying on and off for hours. "Does Brielle know you're here?" I asked. She shook her head fast. "No, God, no. If she knew, she'd lose her mind." So she stepped inside, sat on the edge of my couch like it might swallow her, and finally said, "I need to tell you the truth about what happened." I didn't rush her. I just nodded. "Go ahead." Kayla took a second, then let it all out. "Brielle never dated you because of you," she said. "She dated you because she liked saying she had a boyfriend. It made her feel accomplished, like it checked a box." I raised an eyebrow. She kept going. "She told us, a lot, that you were perfect for the image. Stable job, nice apartment, reliable. It made her look put together." "Classy," I said. Kayla winced. "I know. And Tiffany. She made everything worse. She kept telling Brielle she could upgrade, that she shouldn't settle for someone so steady." I laughed under my breath. "Steady is apparently a crime now." Kayla let out a breath that was half sigh, half apology. "Tiffany kept pushing Brielle to look for something more exciting, more passionate. She said you were bare minimum masked as maturity, and that Brielle deserved a man who would worship her. So, someone clueless," I said. Kayla didn't argue. She looked ashamed. "And what about you?" I asked. She swallowed hard. I followed along. I didn't think for myself. I let Tiffany's opinions become mine. I echoed whatever she said because she's intense. And honestly, I didn't want to be the one she targeted. Fair enough. Tiffany had the energy of a Yelp review that could ruin someone's life. "And Brielle?" I asked. Kayla hesitated only for a moment. "She talked about you like a placeholder," she said quietly. "Like you were a good practice boyfriend until someone better showed up. She liked posting you more than actually being with you." Nothing about that surprised me. It just confirmed what I'd already filed away. Kayla kept going. "When she broke up with you, she told us she was proud of herself, said she felt free, and then a week later she started spiraling because you didn't chase her. Tiffany told her you would, eventually." "Bad prediction," I said. Kayla nodded. "She's losing it now. She won't admit it, but she's furious you never showed up at her door." I didn't respond. I didn't need to. Then she paused, like she was bracing herself. "She's telling people you proposed and she rejected you." I sat back. "She's saying what?" Kayla nodded. "Tiffany told her to push that story. Makes her look powerful. Makes you look obsessed. She even said if you try to correct it, she'll call you petty." That hit the line. I wasn't going to let her rewrite my story. I got up, walked to my drawer, and pulled out the ring box. Kayla watched me set it on the coffee table. "I bought this 3 weeks before she broke up with me," I said. Never gave it to her. "It's been here ever since." Kayla's eyes widened. "Dylan, that's messed up. She's lying to everyone." "Not shocked," I said. She sat there for a few seconds, thinking hard, then suddenly got an idea, and I saw it hit her all at once. "What if," she said slowly, "we flipped the story on her?" I raised an eyebrow. "How?" She pointed at the ring box. "We take a picture. Casual. Nothing wild. Just us on the couch, ring box on the coffee table between us. No caption. No explanation. Just something that forces her to realize she can't control the narrative." I considered it. It wasn't about revenge or jealousy. It was about shutting down a lie before it spread. Kayla waited, nervous, like she expected me to say no. Instead, I said, "If she wants to treat me like an option, she can watch me move on like one." Kayla blinked. "So, yes?" I shrugged. "Why not? She told a story. We give her one back." Kayla exhaled like she'd been holding that breath since she walked in. We staged it simple. On the couch, me leaning back, Kayla next to me, the ring box on the coffee table between us. Calm, clean, no touching. A single photo with a single message. "You don't get to lie about me." Kayla hit post, and I swear we didn't wait 5 minutes before the first notification popped off. We didn't know it yet, but that picture was the exact match that would burn Brielle's entire narrative down, and she wasn't going to take it quietly. Kayla posted the picture at 11:15 in the morning. Clean shot, simple angle, ring box centered between us. No caption, no emojis, no explanation. By 11:23, Tiffany had already seen it. Within 15 minutes, Brielle was blowing up Kayla's phone with back-to-back calls. About an hour later, someone banged on my front door hard enough to make the hinges complain. I opened it to find all 3 of them on my welcome mat. Brielle in front, Tiffany behind her like an overcaffeinated bodyguard, and Kayla looking like she'd rather be hit by a bus. Brielle had dragged her along the second she saw the post. Brielle pushed her way in first. Dylan, we need to talk. I didn't move. You could start by asking, Tiffany scoffed. He doesn't get to set terms anymore. You posted a manipulative photo to humiliate her. I looked straight at her. You're loud, not right. Move back. Tiffany froze for the first time in her life. Kayla stepped aside automatically. Brielle hesitated, then took half a step back like her instincts were confused. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. All right, talk. Brielle switched to soft mode instantly. Voice small, eyes shiny. Classic rewind the breakup routine. I made a mistake, she said. I've been thinking about you a lot. Everything got too serious too fast and I panicked. You were the best boyfriend I ever had. Her tone was rehearsed. Same rhythm as her breakup speech, just flipped. I got scared, she added, hand hovering near her chest for dramatic effect. I didn't know how to handle how good you were to me. I didn't say anything. I didn't smile. I didn't give her anything to build on. Just let her choke on the silence. Tiffany jumped in when she saw it wasn't landing. She's being vulnerable, Dylan. Don't punish her for honesty. Kayla nodded right on cue. Yeah, she's trying. I glanced at Kayla. You didn't sound this supportive when she was calling me too immature to marry. Kayla froze. Tiffany glared. Brielle's eye twitched. I stepped aside. You want to talk? Then talk. They came in. Brielle walked past me like she owned the place, eyes locked on the coffee table. Specifically, the ring box still sitting where Kayla left it. And that's when the sweetness snapped like a cheap bracelet. You bought me a ring? She said, voice rising. You were going to propose? Yeah, I said. Before you dumped me. Her eyebrows drew together. Something ugly built in her expression. Well, she said, that's mine. I blinked. Excuse me? The ring, she said sharply. Engagement rings are gifts. Under the law, you can't take it back. There it was. The real motive. Not love, not regret, not fear. Money. Tiffany stepped forward like she'd researched this for a courtroom. Actually, in our state, once a ring is purchased with intent to propose, it legally belongs to the fiancé. Kayla nodded instantly. Yeah, it's considered a conditional gift. I cut her off. No proposal, no ring on your finger. It stayed in the box. Silence. Tiffany's mouth opened, closed, opened again. She wasn't used to people hitting her with facts instead of feelings. Brielle tried again, louder. It's still mine. You bought it for me. And never gave it to you, I said. Which means it never belonged to you. She stepped closer, jabbing a manicured finger at the box. You don't get to flaunt a ring you bought for me in some petty picture with Kayla. Kayla flinched at her name. Tiffany looked ready to swing. I shrugged. Should have thought about that before telling people you rejected my proposal. The whole room stilled. Kayla's eyes widened. She didn't know I'd seen that message. Tiffany's face tightened. She had definitely encouraged it. Brielle's jaw locked, caught red-handed in her own lie. That is not what happened, she yelled. I tilted my head. You didn't reject a proposal I never made? She blinked, stunned. Then she realized she'd lost control of the narrative. Completely, publicly, instantly. So she switched tactics again. She crossed her arms, chin up. Give me the ring, Dylan. No. You owe me. No. Tiffany shoved forward like she wanted to physically move me aside. You don't get to tell a woman what she's owed. And you don't get to enter my apartment, I said without raising my voice. Stay in the hallway. She froze again. My tone didn't change. That bothered her more than yelling would have. Brielle pointed at the ring box. If you don't give that to me, I'm not leaving. I nodded. Okay. She blinked. Okay? Yeah, you can stand there all day. You're still not getting something you never owned. Tiffany grabbed Brielle's arm, whisper hissing something like, push harder. Kayla looked ready to pass out. Then Tiffany tried one more intimidation move, stepping into my personal space. Men like you, she said, need to learn they don't control women's choices. I didn't move. And women like you need to learn volume isn't a personality trait. Kayla choked on a laugh before remembering she wasn't allowed to disagree with Tiffany. Brielle's voice cracked. Dylan, please, just give me the ring. You bought it for me. It's mine. I shook my head slowly. You broke up with me before I could propose. You don't get to collect prizes from a future you walked away from. She looked between the three of us, me calm, Tiffany fuming, Kayla shrinking. And for the first time, I saw the truth hit her. She had no leverage. She wasn't here for love. She was here because she saw a ring in a photo and realized the world wouldn't orbit her anymore. And that's when the night flipped from desperate to dangerous. The moment she decided yelling wasn't enough. She wasn't leaving empty-handed, and she was about to prove it the stupidest way possible. When I didn't react, Tiffany tried a physical angle. She planted her hand on the doorframe and shoved forward. Move, she barked. She lives here. I didn't budge. She doesn't. And you're not coming in. Tiffany tried again. Harder. I didn't move an inch. Brielle, seeing Tiffany fail, switched to pure chaos. She started pounding the doorframe like she was signaling a rescue helicopter. Give me my ring! You bought it for me! You owe me! She screamed so loud the hallway echoed. That's when my neighbor Brandon opened his door halfway down the hall. Sleep shirt, gym shorts, annoyed expression. Hey! He snapped. Some of us live here! Knock it off! Tiffany wheeled on him instantly. Mind your business, old man. Brandon blinked. He wasn't old. Maybe early 30s. He just took a beat, shook his head in disbelief, and shut his door with the exhausted finality of a man calling the cops before it even clicked shut. Brielle kept yelling. Tiffany kept shouting. Kayla looked like she wanted the floor to swallow her. 10 minutes later, the sirens faded into the parking lot. 2 minutes after that, footsteps came up the stairs. Officer Reyes, a calm, sharp-eyed woman in uniform, rounded the corner with another officer behind her. A moment later, Sergeant Whitaker followed. Reyes lifted a hand. Everyone stop. Nobody moves. Nobody talks unless I point at you. They quieted immediately. Even Tiffany. Reyes pointed at Brielle first. You. What's happening here? Brielle wiped her eyes aggressively to look more victimized. I'm trying to pick up my things. My boyfriend, well, ex, won't let me inside. Reyes turned to me. Is that true? No, I said evenly. She picked up her things a month ago when she dumped me. Today she's here demanding a ring I never gave her. Tiffany jumped in. Engagement rings belong to the woman once they're bought. Reyes held up one finger without looking at her. Stop talking. Tiffany actually shut up. I continued. We dated for 2 years. I bought a ring, didn't propose. She ended the relationship before I could. Now she's claiming ownership of something that was never delivered. Reyes nodded once, making mental notes. Whitaker spoke to Kayla. And you're here why? Kayla swallowed hard. I shouldn't be. I got dragged along. Reyes pointed at Brielle again. Why are you demanding a ring that wasn't given to you? Brielle snapped. Because the money from it will pay off my car. The hallway froze. Reyes blinked slowly. Whitaker stared at her like she'd confessed to arson for fun. Even Tiffany didn't know how to spin that. Kayla covered her mouth, horrified. I let out a small, humorless laugh. So you didn't want the marriage. You wanted the payout. Brielle threw her hands up. Oh my God, you're twisting my words. I'm repeating them. That's when she snapped completely. She lunged forward and punched me in the chest, hard. Tried to kick me next, but I stepped back, letting her momentum send her stumbling. Reyes was on her in 2 seconds flat. She grabbed Brielle's arms, pinned her to the wall, and cuffed her in one clean motion. You're under arrest for assault, Reyes said, voice steady. Keep resisting and you'll add another charge. Brielle shrieked. What? He made me do it! Tiffany, say something! Tiffany looked stunned. Mouth open, no sound coming out. The self-proclaimed warrior for women's rights had gone silent the moment real consequences appeared. Kayla backed into the wall, tears coming down. Reality was hitting her like a brick. Whitaker looked at me. We witnessed the assault. Charges proceed regardless of whether you want them. I understand, I said. Reyes began guiding Brielle down the hall. Brielle kept twisting around to scream. This isn't fair. He owes me. That ring is mine. Tiffany, tell them. Kayla, Tiffany, help me. Tiffany only managed to whisper. Bri, I can't fix this. Kayla looked destroyed. She whispered, I'm so sorry, before covering her face. Reyes dragged Brielle into the stairwell as the shouting faded. Whitaker turned to Tiffany and Kayla. Both of you, leave, now. Tiffany nodded quickly. No argument, no feminist monologue, nothing. Just fear. Kayla followed behind her, stunned into silence. When the hallway finally emptied, Whitaker gave me a look that said he'd seen this exact scenario before. You handled yourself, he said. Good thing your neighbor called early. Could have gotten worse. I nodded. Appreciate it. Before they headed out, Reyes snapped a couple of photos of the ring box on the coffee table. Documentation and nothing more. It wasn't evidence in anything, and it stayed with me. They left. Door closed. Silence settled over my apartment, and that was the moment it hit me. All that chaos, all the pressure, all the manipulation, all the drama. It wasn't mine anymore. It was gone. Removed. Escorted out in handcuffs. And for the first time in months, my home felt like mine again. An hour later, everything blew open again. My phone lit up with a number I didn't recognize. I answered out of instinct. A woman's voice blasted through the receiver. "This is Brielle's mother. What did you do to my daughter?" There was crying behind her. Someone else yelling. I recognized the male voice, her father. I kept my tone level. "Your daughter tried to force her way into my apartment, demanded property she was never given, and assaulted me in front of 2 officers." Her father shouted, "That's not what she told us." "I'm sure," I said. "Ask the police for the report." There was a pause. Not long, just enough to tell me they suddenly weren't as confident as when they dialed. Her mother's tone shifted fast, dropping from rage to uncertainty. "They said we could come get her in the morning. Is this really going on her record?" "That's not my call." Her father got back on. "She told us you tricked her. You stole her ring." I almost laughed. "She never had a ring. She never got proposed to. Check her story. See if it matches the real world for once." They didn't know what to say. Her mother muttered something like, "We'll figure this out," and the call ended. I knew the exact moment they learned the truth. The next call came 15 minutes later, but this time from Kayla. "I thought you should know," she said. "Brielle is already lying from jail. She told her parents you shoved her first. Then she said you stole the ring out of spite. Then she said you and I set her up. None of it matches. They're freaking out." "Expected?" I said. "Tiffany helping her?" Kayla exhaled. "About that." My phone vibrated again before she could finish. A notification. Instagram. Tiffany had posted a 7-paragraph rant to her story, tagging no one but implying everything. The patriarchy protects men. Women being arrested for defending themselves. Men weaponizing the legal system. She deserves that ring. It was a gift of intent. And anyone defending him is brainwashed. It took about 10 minutes for the building footage to surface. Our tenant portal lets residents pull common area camera clips. Brandon grabbed the hallway video and replied to her story with the time-stamped clip. Brielle lunging at me, full swing, right before Reyes grabbed her. Tiffany's story disappeared within seconds, replaced by a new one saying, "Editing this for clarity." Misinformation going around. Then silence. Kayla called again. Her voice was embarrassed. She asked me to back her up, to lie, but I told her no. She's on her own. "Tiffany doesn't survive reality checks very well," I said. "She's panicking," Kayla added. "She said she won't talk to the police because they're biased." Brielle's furious at her for not helping. It's falling apart. Good. Consequences tend to do that. Later that night, Brielle herself called me from the county holding line. I let it go to voicemail. Her message was a desperate, shaky whisper. "Dylan, please, you don't understand. I wasn't thinking. I was angry because of the ring. I need it. My car payment is due and I just need help. You know I didn't mean to hit you. Please don't make this bigger than it is. Please." She sounded like someone begging the universe to reverse the last 6 hours. I didn't respond. The police didn't wait long. Around noon the next day, Sergeant Whitaker called me with an update. She's being released to her parents. Conditions are strict. No contact order is active. If she reaches out again, call us immediately. Understood. I thought that was it. I thought she'd finally shut up and disappear into the mess she created. But Brielle always had one more bad decision in her pocket. Within hours, I got screenshots from 3 different people. Tiffany posted again, but not a rant, not a speech. A single text bubble allegedly from Brielle. "He hit me first." The comments were brutal. Nobody believed it. Not after the video, not after the police statements, not after Tiffany's meltdown last night. Kayla reposted the footage herself, with a caption, "Lies fall apart fast. I enabled it for too long. Never again." It ended Tiffany's credibility instantly. Her entire feminist warrior persona deflated in one afternoon. The final wave came when the mugshot leaked. Someone at the station uploaded it to a local community page. It spread instantly. My DMs flooded. "Bro, she looks wild. Car payment girl strikes again. Tell her to upgrade her decision-making next time." I didn't engage. I didn't take victory laps. I didn't need to. 2 days later, I sold the ring. Put the cash toward a new motorcycle exhaust I'd been eyeing. When the shop owner handed me the receipt, he asked if it was for a trade-up. "Something like that," I said. That night, I got one last message from Brielle's mother. "We're embarrassed. We're sorry for what she put you through. Thank you for cooperating with the police." I left it on read. Some stories don't need replies. And Brielle? She lost the boyfriend, the ring she never had, the lie she tried to sell, and the last 2 people willing to defend her. Actions meet consequences eventually. She just met hers all at once. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.